historically and biblically, people have associated black people, and even more so black people in the West, with the tribe of Ham. And I'm not saying this is true or factual, but people have made that association, the tribe of Ham, or with Ham, who was in the Bible one of Noah's sons, who he cursed for seeing him naked. And it's so much allegory and metaphor with that. But that aside, right, this was Noah's son who he cursed. And people said that, black people are of the tribe of Ham, right? So Ham's redemption, or the redemption of black people, or redemption of the black man, in Portuguese, is, I believe, is pronounced, I might be saying this wrong, Redenção, or A Redeção de Cam, right? The redemption of Ham, Ham's redemption. The Ham's redemption is a painting that was made by a Spanish man who moved to Brazil in the 1800s, Modesto Braco. I might be saying that wrong. I'm gonna put it here, right? So a Spaniard from Europe who moved to Brazil made this painting called Ham's Redemption, and it's supposed to represent, the redemption of the black bloodline. Ham redeeming himself through the whitening of his bloodline, or of the bloodline, right? So in the painting, you can see, the dark-skinned grandmother who obviously, has a mixed baby. Her husband, or maybe just the man who had his way with her, not even her husband, was a white man. They had this mixed baby, and then her daughter, right, who then also had a child with another white man. And that man, in the painting, it's not given husband, it's given, I just kind of knocked you up, and I'm just, looking over there. So, and then the baby that they had is basically just a white baby now, right? The Afro features, the black features have been erased out of there. And, in his mind, in that person, in the man's mind who made this painting, that's redemption, right? Through the whitening of the bloodline. And Spanish cultures, they have something called Mejorar La Raza, or Mejorar La Raza, bettering the race, and Blanqueamiento. And when they say that, what are they talking about? They're talking about, better the race is a theme you should carry in your mind with mate selection. You're bettering the race when you marry a white man. If you're a black, Afro feature, Cuban, Dominican, Colombian, Mexican, whatever, your spouse should be white. If you were Afro featured woman, you should have a spouse with a black man, with a white man. Same idea as Ham's redemption. Whitening the bloodline, redeeming your bloodline, bettering the race, right? So yeah, Ham's redemption, Mejorar La Raza, and Blanqueamiento. These are all kind of pushing the same idea, same thought, right? And the irony of that, the biggest irony of that is, the thing that makes a person's skin brown. I won't even just say, African people or African descendants, because there are other people who have brown. Some Indians are very, very dark. Australian Aborigines, whoever, anyone who has a darker skin tone. The thing in our skin that makes it dark is the substance, the chemical melanin. And melanin, if extracted and just held in a pure form, I'm gonna put this on here, is literally worth about 6 to 7 times the price of gold. Now that was the last time I checked. I didn't even check before I made this video, and I'm gonna check after I'm done, and I'm gonna put it up here and we'll see. But it's literally worth 7 times the price of gold. So, the irony of someone saying that you're bettering your race, or you're redeeming yourself by diluting out of yourself the abundant chemical that's worth 7 times the amount of gold. Like, just get it out of your system and get it out of your bloodline, and that's making you better, right? How ironic is that, right? Melanin has a function, absorb sunlight, converted it to energy for the body. Ideally, I won't go too deep into this, but ideally, you know, melanin in the skin functions the same way as chlorophyll for plants, right? It absorbs sunlight, converts it to energy for the body. You know, my skin is brown, the same reason the grass is green. So yeah, I just think, you know, that's a huge ironic thing, right? And I'm not inherently against, especially in today's world, interracial marriage, interracial, intercultural, whatever. I have no hate for that. So I'm not knocking that at all, you know, if that's what people want to do. But, you know, just that idea that do it because this is what's making us better, or, you know, that pervasive thought, you know, that's existed for a long time. I mean, again, this man, the painter, was in the 1800s. That's still, you know, I'm sure it's out. You know, I'm sure it still exists today. Maybe not as prevalent, but maybe so. Right? It is still a lot of racial tension in Brazil. I've been there twice myself, both times to Salvador, which is, you know, as they call it, Black Rome, the largest Afro-populated city in the world outside of the continent of Africa. So, you know, I saw a lot and I learned a lot out there. The guy who made the painting, the painter, he was living in Rio de Janeiro. He won a gold medal for the painting, taught fine arts, taught School of Fine Art down there, which is crazy. But yeah, you know, it's just an ironic topic. I could say so much more about that, but yeah, it's kind of here in the United States, there are certain ideals about that, you know, race relations and whatnot, but we see that very prevalent in South America and the Latino cultures. And, you know, people like to say that America was founded on racism and slavery and all of that, and I'm not saying that ain't true, but, you know, sometimes it seems like those dynamics and, you know, stereotypes and negative mindsets exist down there even worse. You know, historically, you look at what happened in Argentina. There was a point in time where 50% of the Argentina population was like black people. We like 5% now, due to eugenics and all of that. And shout out to Aces Live. He did a beautiful documentary on the Argentinian people down there, and, you know, just kind of showing the unseen faces and telling the untold stories. And he's done that in a lot of places: Mexico, Colombia, and all over the world. Shout out to Aces Live. So yeah, I don't know, man. I just kind of wanted to speak on that. It's ironic because the thing that you're trying to get out of your system and out of your bloodline is such a valuable thing, right? It just shows backwards thinking, but it's socio and political, right? Great Britain and, you know, between Portugal, Spain, and England, I mean, they conquered the whole world. It is what it is. You know, this has been their age of rule, and every group of people has had their time and ruling the world. So I'm not, you know, I'm not one of those I hate white people, anti-white. You know, the Moors, West African Moors, had control over Europe for 800 years, 711 AD to 1492. I mean, that's about 7 centuries of Africans ruling over Europe. Right, the Renaissance period happened during the Moors controlling that. So, you know, that's the history that's not taught in school. But that's why I don't get upset about racism or whatever, or use slavery as an excuse for everything, because whatever, man, we all had our time to rule the world, and every piece of land on earth has been fought over and blood has been spilled over it. So I'm just accepting the world for what it is and not you know, placing blame on other people. But yeah, it's just kind of an ironic situation. Those thoughts are pervasive down there in those regions of the world too. There's another page, I believe it's called Black Brazil Today, or Black News Brazil, something like that. I'll try to tag him in the description. He covers a lot of these topics, gives a lot of good information. But yeah, I won't ramble too long. I'm gonna put the figures up here. I'm gonna show the painting. I'm gonna show the what is the going price of melanin right now per gram in comparison to gold. And yeah, you know, thank you for watching this whole video. Leave a comment down there if you are a Latino, especially if you're a Latino Mexican. I just spent a month in Mexico from January 17th to February 17th. What's your thoughts on Mejorar La Raza? Is that something like your grandmother or grandfather used to say, but people don't really embrace that anymore? Is it still just as strong as it's always been? You know, Blanqueamiento. If by some chance a Brazilian watches this video, an English-speaking Brazilian, you know, what's your thoughts on that? You know, is that still a pervasive thought down there? Is it something that you embrace? Do you see yourself as, you know, I need to better the race for my people? Like, you know, what's your thoughts? I'm interested to hearing both sides. If you accept it, if you embrace it, like, feel free to comment that too. I'm not mad at it. I just, you know, love to get some feedback, commentary from folks. So, yeah, that's the video. Ham's redemption. The irony of Ham's redemption. Mejorar La Raza y Blanqueamiento.